Hi, I'm Lynette, and welcome to another episode of Eyeshadow Palettes I Regret Buying. I guess I should start naming these by episode, and this would be episode number 3 because I've done 2 other videos just like this one. So, yeah, you would think maybe I would have learned my lesson by now, but when you're as addicted to eyeshadow and eyeshadow palettes as I am, it's difficult to try to rein it in. But yeah, so I'm going to show you the eyeshadow palettes that I purchased and that now I regret having done so. Starting off with one that I've had in my collection for a really long time, and I just used it for the first time very recently and came to the conclusion that I don't like it. And it's from Kaleidos, and it's the, oh Lord, it's the Futurism 6 or 5. It's the Electric Turquoise palette. And this was part of their initial eyeshadow palette launch. Looks like this one, and I think there were 4 maybe in that collection. I have 3. So I have 2 others just like this, and one of them I used this one, which is Futurism 4 VR Neon. I used this one. I'm pretty sure I did a tutorial on it, and I don't recall disliking this palette. I don't recall hating this palette as much as I hate this one. I used it one time, did a look that I actually posted on my Instagram, and really hated working with this palette. I really strongly disliked it because, for one, the colors, these blues, once I put them on the eyes, look the same. But once I was able to get them on the eye, because I had to build it up so much, this orange that looks so bright in the pan barely showed up on me, to the point where I had to dip into another palette in order to get the orange to pop, because this orange did absolutely nothing. I hated it. I really thoroughly disliked my experience with this palette. So much so, I was so frustrated and so annoyed that I really thought of decluttering it immediately from my collection. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I don't know if I'm going to try and use it again. Usually when I have such a poor experience with a palette, I don't go back to it. But I don't know. I might try and use it again and see if my feelings change, but definitely a regret. Now I don't regret waiting so long to use it. The next one on my list of regrets is from Flower Beauty, and it's the Jungle Lights palette. And I bought this palette maybe early 2020 simply because I've heard so many good things about it. So many people here on YouTube have it, love it, and yeah, so I was like, all right, well, let me go ahead and do it. I paid full price for it, okay? I'm pretty sure I paid full price for it. And it's beautiful. I mean, it's an all shimmer palette, and the shimmers are very foiled. I've swatched the hell out of it. They look like liquid metal. They're really beautiful, but for some reason, I just don't reach for it. I mean, mainly I'm sure it's because it's an all shimmer palette, and I don't tend to reach very often for all shimmer palettes. But I think, I don't know, maybe the colors too, because I have this color already. I have these most of these colors in my collection already from other indie brands that do a beautiful metallic formula as well. So I just never really think to reach for this palette. So I'm going to try and use it. But yeah, I'm kind of wishing that, since I haven't used it, I kind of wish I had never bought it. Another palette on my list of regrets is from Game Beauty, and it's the Adventure palette. Now this brand, and it's an indie brand, only recently came onto my radar. I saw the first person I ever saw use this palette or ever heard of anything from this brand was Teresa is Dead, and she had this palette and she liked it, but the person the person that made me buy it is Millie of Bad to the Brow, and I saw her use this palette on her YouTube channel. And you know, one of those, while watching the video, I go onto the website and I purchase the palette. And yeah, it's a pretty palette. It's got, I think this is a pressed glitter. It's got one pressed glitter in it that looks like a pressed glitter, and then it's got some nice blue greens and this pretty orange, some marble shades here, and this really pretty green metallic. But I don't know, I haven't gotten around to using it, and it might be because it's predominant. I got it for this shade right here. I saw Millie use it, that orange one, and I'm like, yes. But I don't know, I just have not gotten around to using it. I've pulled for it a few times, I've opened it, I've looked at it, and then I just put it back because I just don't feel inspired by it. So I still plan to use it, definitely. It's in my box of eyeshadow palettes that I plan to use. But I just haven't gotten there yet. So this is a palette that I could have done without. I could have done without it. From Nabla, I have one of their cutie palettes. This is the Platinum palette. And when there's a collection of these, and when they first came out, I kind of wanted them all, but this one was the one I wanted the most because it's got that silver. I saw it in some videos, and I saw people using these metallic shimmers, and they again look like liquid metal, and I was like, oh yes, I need to have it, and I have yet to use it. I think I've swatched it once or twice, and then never reached for it. I'll pull it out every now and again, and I'll look at it, and then I just use something else. And I think mainly because for me, it's not like a really cohesive color story for a 6-pan palette. Now I can see where like you have these two that are a little warmer toned, and I could certainly do a look with using these two together. Then you have these two which are a little more cool tone, this matte and this metallic, that are a little more cool tone that I could see using together. And then you have this kind of bronze in here that to me just doesn't go, and then you have this silver that I guess I could use with these two right here, this more platinum and this more brown, cool tone brown. But then I'm not really a silver type person when it comes to eyeshadow, at least. So yeah, for me, this color story is a little disjointed, and I think that's probably the main reason I don't reach for it. So shoulda, coulda, left it in the stove. From Alien Cosmetics, a brand that I've wanted to try for a bit, and they've only gotten on my they only got onto my radar maybe in the last year or so. And then this palette was out of stock, and then it came back into stock, and I said, well, let me go ahead and get it. And this is the Serendipity palette, and I do like this foiled packaging here. This art, no, don't like that, but I do like this gold foil. Very, very different. It does have a mirror. And then this is the color story, which I thought was interesting, and one of the reasons why I purchased it, because I felt like, ooh, it'll force me to do some different types of looks. And then it's got this beautiful duochrome shadow right here, and then it's got this another duochrome more flaky textured shadow. And then this one, which is a metallic, which is a gorgeous one, also has duochrome properties. And this beautiful maroon, which is right up my alley, this bright pop of yellow. So I did attempt to use this palette in a tutorial and stopped the tutorial, kept the footage, was going to show it to you, and then was like, no, I got rid of it. And then I wiped off the look, and I went and did something else because it just was not pretty. It wasn't pretty. Now I could easily well, I won't say easily, but I could do a monochromatic look using these eyeshadows right here, maybe this one too, but I didn't want to do a monochromatic look. The reason why I bought this is because I thought it would push me to want to do something a little more creative and outside of what I normally do. But I think maybe this is a little too outside of the box for me, because I really don't know, aside from that one monochromatic look, maybe two, these greens right here, I really don't know what to do with this palette. And then in my attempt to use it, this shadow right here swatched, it's a metallic, it swatched really like, okay, like it had a lot of substance to it. And so I tried to use it in my crease. It just didn't do in my crease what I thought it was gonna do. I thought it was gonna act more like a matte, like a metallic I could use as a matte, but it did not. And then this yellow was just not, it looks so vibrant in the pan here, and it just, oh, even when I swatch it. But then once I blended it out, like it was not giving what I needed it to give. And then this shade right here, gorgeous, beautiful. It's really unlike anything else I think I have in my collection. It's kind of like this green, bronze, brown, really pretty. And it's a very thin. So I tried to put that though all over my lid, thinking, okay, maybe it'll show up, and it's really just a topper shade, which was very disappointing. And then this one is so flaky, glitter, specks everywhere, and I just could not. I couldn't. I could not. So this palette right here, maybe an unpopular opinion, because I know there's a lot of people that love Alien Cosmetics, but this just doesn't work for me. I am going to try to use it again because I will not let it defeat me. So even if I have to resort to doing more of a monochromatic look, I will do it just to get a feel for the shadows and to get a good feeling about it. But yeah, right now I'm just like, would have been okay if I had never purchased it. And then from BH Cosmetics, I bought the original Zodiac palette, was it this year maybe, or in the end of last year? A palette I've always wanted. I did use it, I like it, the formula is really nice. And then the Zodiac Love Signs palette is another one that I've wanted too, but I never got because I'm like, you know, it's just it's a beautiful palette, but more warm tone, neutral palette. And you know, kind of doesn't really excite me, but it's really pretty and I liked the original, so I figured if the formula is the same, it'll be a nice palette to use. I did pick it up from TJ Maxx, or was it Marshall's? It was TJ Maxx. I found it in the TJ Maxx. I think it was like $8.99 in pristine condition, because every TJ Maxx I go to in my area is trashed. But for some reason, there were like 3 or 4 of these palettes and they were in perfect condition. And I kind of felt like maybe it was a sign that maybe I should go on ahead. I mean, for like $9, I think it was $9.99, $8.99, like, you know, and it's not trashed. I felt like it was a sign. So I went on, but even when I was buying it, contemplating it, I'm like, but are you really gonna use it? And I did use it once, and I got a very pretty look from it, and the shadows all worked really nicely, all nicely pigmented, blend out very nicely, the shimmers really pretty. And then I've never reached for it again, and which was what I thought was going to happen. So yeah, I do regret caving in. Even though I didn't spend a lot of money on it, I do regret caving in and buying this palette. And then last but not least is an honorable mention, because I don't know yet if it's a regret. I've had to let the dust settle a little bit, calm down. I'm gonna need to use it again before I can definitively say it's a regret. But it is from Natasha Denona, and it's the Mini Love palette. So now her full-size Love palette, I was always interested in because it's a lot of, you know, pretty mauve tones, purples and things like that. But it got so many mixed reviews here on YouTube, and many of them were not very good. So I said, I don't want to spend that kind of money and get the palette and then feel like everybody else. So when she came out with the mini, I said, oh, well, this gives me an opportunity to try it and see, because I do have the gold mini and I love that one. So I said, let me go ahead and get the Love mini, the mini Love. And very pretty color story, very, very pretty. This shadow right here, I swatched it and was in love because it's this beautiful pink gold duochrome. Absolutely, oh, look at that. So beautiful. So I was excited to use this palette, and I did this plum shade was called to me, like the whole color story, love it. Use this palette, put this all over the lid, or tried to, and it's like a topper shade. It's a topper shade, that's what it is. It's a topper shade. It didn't give me that foiled effect. First of all, it was hard to apply. I think I tried with the brush first, that didn't work. I might have tried with the wet brush, that didn't work. Went in with my finger, I mean, it just didn't work. It just didn't work, and it turned out to be a topper shade. And I hate topper shades, okay? In case you're new here, I hate topper shades. I was so freaking annoyed with this. I really wanted to throw this into the trash. right along with this one. This shadow, this was some bullshit, okay? And I don't appreciate it. I really don't appreciate it. It just killed. I mean, I had such high hopes for this, and it just dashed them, like killed them, like murdered them. And I just, ooh, so annoyed, so annoyed. But I have since calmed down, and now that I know what I'm working with, I'm gonna try it again. I don't remember being blown away by these two either, like this dark matte purple one, and like I just was but I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna try it again, and then if I really have the same feeling about it, it's gonna get decluttered, because I get angry just looking at it, okay? And I don't need that kind of negative energy in my happy place. All right, this is my happy place. This is my happy collection, and I can't have you bringing negativity and anger to that. All right, so let me know in the comments below, what are some eyeshadow palettes here in 2021 you regret purchasing? If you liked this video, then please give it a like and consider subscribing, because I do makeup tutorials, haul swatches, reviews, and a whole host of other things here every Saturday. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you again next week. Until then, bye-bye.